Now to an NBC News investigation into a pattern of abuse at the world's largest Pentecostal denomination, the Assemblies of God. NBC News uncovered a 50-year pattern of sex abuse, silence, and cover-up. It's one where the denomination's churches shielded predators and allowed them to abuse again. And now some of those alleged victims are looking for change from the very top. Now we have a warning for you. Some content in this story might be hard to hear. Here's senior national correspondent Kate Snow.
When Stephanie Davis was in 6th grade, she was part of a group for homeschooled kids at an Assemblies of God church in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
This is most of our homeschool group.
When it was time for phys ed, Davis says children's pastor Tony Waller told them to undress in a bathroom, do stretches, and change into play clothes.
It just changed to, why don't you get naked and do this? It's going to help you.
Stretches?
Yeah, stretches.
One day they were playing hide and seek and went into a storage room off the bathroom.
We opened the door, and there it is, a camera on a black stool.
Do you remember what you thought in that moment?
I knew. We knew that he had been taping us.
At first they didn't tell their parents, but weeks later, Davis says Waller gave her a drink she now believes was drugged.
I just remember spinning, you know. Don't know if I blacked out, but I remember, and there's a picture of green steps. I remember sitting on those green steps thinking, I've got to go.
What's the emotion you're feeling?
The emotion is just not knowing, you know, exactly what happened.
She was scared and told her mom everything. She says her mother went to the head pastor, Mike Glover, with the disturbing details.
And then what happened after that meeting?
Tony was suspended, and then, you know, he was back.
That's been a pattern in Assemblies of God churches. NBC News identified nearly 200 Assemblies of God pastors, church employees, and volunteer leaders accused of sexual abuse over the past 50 years. Together, they allegedly abused more than 475 people, most of them kids. In about 30 cases that NBC News found, church leaders put alleged abusers in positions of power, allowing them to abuse again. Nearly 2 years after Stephanie says her mom reported the children's pastor, Tony Waller, Courtney Blackburn says he started visiting her house when her mom was at work.
And this is your bedroom?
Mm-hmm. She says Waller brought bags of clothes for her to try on and keep. One day, when she was changing in her bedroom, she stopped cold.
I got about this far with my top and I seen it, and I stopped. I froze.
And you see what?
The video camera sitting on my dresser.
In that split second, you know that he's recording you.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. These come out of the clothing bag. I was 11 in these pictures.
Who took these pictures?
Tony did.
Courtney immediately called her mother, Rhonda, who says she also went straight to the head pastor, Mike Glover.
He told me that he would have to take it before the board and the deacons, and they would have to pray about it. I was told, quote, unquote, God told us that it was a misunderstanding.
Then head pastor Mike Glover declined to appear on camera. He told NBC News he was never told about Waller secretly recording children, saying he suspended Waller for leaving children unattended.
Mike Glover tells NBC News that he has no memory of you coming forward.
And that's a lie. That's a straight lie.
In 2015, Tony Waller was arrested after his wife found thousands of images of naked children on his computer. Two young sisters, aged 10 or 11, told police Waller raped them. Waller was convicted and is in prison for life. Davis and Blackburn both gave statements of their own to police, saying Waller filmed them and that they reported it to Pastor Glover.
Good morning.
The General Counsel of the Assemblies of God declined an interview with NBC News, the church saying in a statement it grieves with anyone who has been hurt through the actions of an abuser and said it remains committed to child safety. But over the decades, the General Counsel has considered and failed to make changes to protect children, like in 2019, when it examined mandating new policies for its 13,000 churches, such as background checks for anyone working with kids and mandatory reporting to police. 2 years later, the council decided against that, their top lawyers saying it could expose them to costly lawsuits.
But they thought the risks associated with it outweighed the benefit.
What do you think of that?
It's dumbfounding.
The church where Waller ministered has since changed its name, and the new pastor says implemented stricter child safety policies. Stephanie Davis says if church leaders had taken action when she came forward, Tony Waller could have been stopped.
It shouldn't have happened.
Kate Snow, NBC News, Paragould, Arkansas.
The Springfield-based Denomination released a response video after the story broke. This is what they had to say in part about the specific accusations against Tony Waller. They addressed the reports about him to head pastor Mike Glover in 2004.
When the district council and general counsel first became aware of his actions in 2015, he was promptly reported to state authorities, investigated, and dismissed per established processes. In another example, Sean Butler is listed in the article as a minister, but he was never a credentialed minister with the Assemblies of God.
They also discussed the policies referenced in NBC's report. You can find a link to the full response under the story on ky3.com, along with NBC's investigative report. There's also a link to their multi-part series investigating child abuse accusations against Assemblies of God.